Because I was living in Korea when I saw that reunion thing take place, where people found each other.
Imagine that.
Oh, it was absolutely incredible.
Hi everybody, I'm Chad. This is Dr. Peterson.
Mark Peterson here, visiting on Chad's channel today.
Yes, and we're going to talk about Korean movies.
Yeah.
This was your idea actually, which I think is a great idea.
Our top 10 movies, but we're going to do 5 and 5 each.
Yeah, my top 5, your top 5.
Yeah. And we're going to do my 5 on your channel.
Yep.
And your 5 on my channel.
Correct. So if you want to see my top 5 Korean movies, head over to Dr. Peterson's channel. We'll put a link in the description because I have a feeling our top 5 might be a little different.
I think they're going to be completely different. You're into more current culture, pop culture.
Entertainment.
And entertainment. And I'm more into historical and teaching and cultural sorts of things. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's not any overlap. But it'll be fun to see if there are. If one of mine is one of yours, go ahead and reveal it at that point.
Okay.
My number 5.
Okay.
An old movie, The Way Home.
The Way Home. I don't know if I've seen it.
You may not have even seen it.
What's
it's
it
a
about?
story about a brat kid whose brat mother takes him to the countryside. He's a city boy.
Yeah.
And the mother takes him to the countryside to live with grandmother for the summer.
Okay.
And he has to spend the summer way out in the sticks, in a small village, in a little house right up on the hill, away from everything.
Right.
And the kid's all on his own. And his battery for his little toys soon die. And he just hates it there.
Yeah.
But his grandmother is so devoted to him and does everything for him. Oh, and she's a deaf mute. She can't speak. And she's never been an actress in anything before, this old lady.
Yeah.
And she's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So it's a cute little movie, and that's going to be my number 5.
Okay, number 5, The Way Home.
The Way Home. Number 4 is Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver.
Yeah. Song Kang-ho thing. I love Song Kang-ho.
He's a phenomenal actor. I've seen Taxi Driver. I'm trying to think now if that made it to number 5. I think it will find out. I can't remember now.
The Gwangju satay was one of my things. I was living in Seoul at the time, but I had lived in Gwangju before. So I have a lot of emotional contact with the Gwangju thing. And I thought the movie did a good job. Dumb car chase at the end.
Yeah, it's a little bit like ridiculous.
Phony baloney. But everything else was really, really neat. So that's my number 5.
I enjoyed that movie a lot.
Okay. Number 3. You may not know this one. Tebe Sanmek. Older movie, 1994 movie. A Korean village just before the Korean War. After liberation, before the Korean War. And it's torn apart by nationalist elements and communist elements.
Yeah.
And each side takes over the village at different points.
Yeah.
And it really helps you to understand the appeal on the communist side. Because when you grow up in an anti-communist state like South Korea or America, you sometimes don't understand, why were these people even interested in communism?
Right.
Well, this explains it. It shows the appeal and the attraction. And it's a very powerful movie, and it's based on a 10-volume novel that's been reduced down to this 2-hour movie. Great actors, great plot line.
Yeah, I was going to ask actually if you showed this in any of your classes.
Yeah.
Because this one sounds familiar. It's been a long time since I took one.
Oh, I may have shown it in one of my classes with you.
Funny story. I remember one time it was a Friday class, and when I was in that class, you had to go out of town. And you asked, you're like, I'm going to be out of town. I need a volunteer to start the movie. And nobody was volunteering because everybody's thinking, I'm going to skip class.
Yeah,
I have to go.
I'm gonna be out
So
of town.
finally, I volunteered.
And you were the only one there?
And we had about half the class. We lost about half.
It wasn't too bad, yeah. So this movie really depicts a true situation in a very emotional way.
Okay.
Number 2 is another one you may not have on your list.
I don't know festival. Yeah.
Festival in Korean, Chukje, and it's a brief little movie that's really 3 movies rolled into one.
Okay.
The festival is a funeral.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it starts off with he's a writer, and he gets news that his mother has died.
Okay.
And so he tells his wife, "Get the money. Let's go. We got to go down the countryside." And she says, "How much money?" He goes, "All of it."
Well.
Because he's the eldest son, and he knows he has to spring for this funeral. They're on the way down to the countryside, and they get a phone call. She didn't die; she revived. And so it's a dark comedy,
Okay.
Dealing with, and funerals are such emotional things.
Right.
But you laugh instead of crying sometimes. And this movie had a lot of that.
That sounds like a fun one.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
And it has some of my favorite actors and actresses in it. 3 movies in one. One is the basic narrative story of the funeral. Mm-hmm. The second movie is every time there's an event about the funeral, they put in Chinese characters what that phase of the funeral is. Mm-hmm. Like putting out food for the spirits that come take the ghost away.
Oh, okay.
And climbing on the roof and announcing to the spirit world, waving the dead person's clothes that so-and-so has died.
Oh, okay.
And then it has this other thing where every now and again in the movie, it changes scenes radically to a pastel background with fakey music. And what's this about? Mm-hmm. And it's a child's point of view of this funeral. So there are these 3 movies that are rolled into one. And I don't know if it got really very critical review, but I just love it. I think it is so loaded with Korean culture, which is my thing.
Right.
It really is a neat movie.
That's interesting.
Chukje.
Yeah.
And my number 1. There it is.
With my father.
Did you guess that's what your number 1?
I did, yeah. I did. Yeah, we've talked about it.
We've talked about that. Ode to My Father. I'm not Korean.
Yeah.
But I think I am. Sometimes.
Yeah.
And if I were Korean, this is my story.
Okay.
Because everything in this, for my 74 years in life, the Korean War, the refugees,
right,
the poverty, trying to get by, making money by going off to Vietnam to work, not to fight, but to work. Friends of mine went off to Saudi Arabia to work. Little by little, things developing, and going off to Germany to work in the coal mines and the women as nurses. These are all stories that I grew up with and people that I knew. And of course, not everyone does all those things like this guy in the movie, but to the extent that a Korean does 1 or 2 and knows people that do this and that, it's my movie. Yeah,
I think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. It's for sure on my list.
Is it?
And Hwang Jung-min, the main character, is my favorite
Wonderful.
actor in Korea. So it's fantastic.
The reunion with the lost daughter.
Ah, that one. That's
because I was living in Korea when I saw that reunion thing take place, where people found each other.
Imagine that.
Oh, it was absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Because before that, every now and again in the Donghae Ilbo, the Hanguk Ilbo, somebody would post a little tiny notice looking for my brother, such and such a place, such and such a time, and KBS decided to put all these together one time, see if they could make a few reunions.
Yeah.
Boom! It happened all over the place because now you've got the TV, not just
now
the newspaper.
everybody's seeing it.
And everybody's seeing it. And so people would come and go to the KBS station, put out a poster of old photographs and data on it. And people would go and look around to see the posters. And then on the TV, they'd say, we have someone in Daegu and someone in Seoul. We think this is a match.
Oh, and then they put them on.
And they put them on.
Yeah.
And oh, my brother, oh, my sister. And it was just powerful.
It's crazy.
And then every now and again, they'd have a scene where we think we have a match. And it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it's got to be the craziest reality TV ever.
Ever. It was just incredible. And this movie caught that thing. And that final scene where she's in LA.
Yeah, she's adopted.
She's adopted from the war and gone. And yet the family, over all of that, gets reunited. Yeah. That was too much for me.
That was crazy. Yeah. It's a fantastic movie.
Yeah. So that's my top 5. And we've got 2 overlaps?
We have potentially 2. I'm trying to remember because Taxi Driver was either 5 or 6.
That's my thing. I've got a top 10 too.
It's really hard, honestly, to only pick 5.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't know if Taxi Driver was number 5 or number 6, but we'll find out.
Okay, we'll find out. Well, great.
All right. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Again, if you would like to see my top 5 Korean movies, head over to Dr. Peterson's channel. I'll put a link in the description, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.
Thanks. Bye.